welcome to the CRM Zen Show. This is episode 279. You're a wizard, Zoho. For Friday, December 1st, 2023, from Zenatta Consulting, I am Brett Martin.
And I'm Tyler Colt, and let's get right on into the show.
December 1st. What in God's name is going on, buddy?
Christmas lights are going up outside. We got snow on the ground here in Colorado, so our little Happy Holidays wrapper is fitting. That is what it looks like outside.
That's just crazy.
Boom, here we are, holiday season. Time
is going so fast. Time is going so fast. I'm going to get together with Zoho, create a new app called Zoho Slow. It's going to be part of Zoho 1. And it just goes, it just slows things down. That's the goal of the app, We've got it in beta, but,
okay.
It should be
I wouldn't try that in beta. I'd wait for full release.
Yeah. So, I don't know, man. I just can't, I can't keep up. I'm confused. I don't even have the proper logo mug with me today. No Zenatta mug. I'll keep this down.
It's all falling apart. Everything's falling apart
today. Oh, Lord have mercy. All right. Well, Tyler, we have got, we were taking December out here in a big way. So the Zoho is not letting off the gas pedal. I think we had 20 odd news stories. We pared them down to the biggest 8. And by the way, the rest of them are still in the newsletter. So zenatta.com/newsletter, subscribe, and you'll get the rest of the stories we just didn't have time to cover today. But with that, let's head right on over to announcements and events. All righty. As always, if you head over to club.zenatta.com, we keep track of all of the events in the world of Zoho. So you can kind of just head on down here and check out all of the events. And under Zenatta, it's all of the Zenatta events. We have today's CRM Zen Show. And coming up in the month of December, we will not be doing a webinar because the very, very last CRM Zen Show of December is the year in review and the Zenmies, which probably will run 4 hours this year. I don't know. There's a lot to cover. We're going to set aside some time and get that thing recorded and in the book. So that will bring out the year for us. We've got 2 more Azazes, 3 more CRM Zen shows, and then we will wrap it up with the year in review. So stay tuned for all of that. And then in January, what are we doing? Oh, I don't know what our webinar is in January.
Generally, it's the Zoho 1 overview in January. We go through kind of where everything's at, any movements on the rankings, right? The yes, maybe no, any new applications. So always a good one.
And then Zoho is slowing it down a little bit in December. So they've got just 2 things coming up. They've got an overview of Zoho People and Creator Tech Connect. Updates and recap series, part 1, 2023 for the Americas. Kind of getting a little low. I mean, December 14th is part 1 for 2023. So I don't know what's going to happen. Part 2 is going to be in 24. I don't know. Anyway, yes. I notice I'm logged into Club Z as an admin here. So there you go. All the special things, our internal Q&A, the Zen Garden, Song for a Song, cooking and cocktails. You're getting a little preview of what happens here behind the scenes with the crazy team over at Zenatta. Anyway, if you don't know, Club Zenatta is our online community. It's where you can discuss things that are going on in the world of Zoho. You can ask questions. Other members will answer them. We'll jump in and answer them. You can leave questions you hope that we will answer over on Azaz. That's Ask Zenatta Anything About Zoho. And so head on over there. All we require is your email. We don't share it with anybody. We just want to verify that you actually are a person so we can send you back a link and verify who you are. So head over to club.zenatta.com. And with that, let's get right on into the news. Well, Tyler, I'm just going to stop talking here because this is the new features that were rolled out for Zoho Analytics, and you are Mr. Analytics. So what do we got?
Yeah, a couple updates here. So as always, they're constantly just adding new data sources, right, that you can pull in easily into Zoho Analytics. This is one for Jotform. A lot of the times, the way we're doing system design, we wouldn't need to use that because the form would go to CRM, and then you just have all the data there. But again, never hurts to have a new option for integration. They've also added workspace level IP restrictions. So this is basically if you had a certain workspace and maybe it had the types of data that you only wanted people to access from in the office, right? You could then only allow certain IP addresses to actually get in there. They've also added a Zoho directory integration. So this is essentially for
Kind of
access
important.
to the application. Again, a lot of our clients end up on Zoho 1. So it kind of has Zoho directory baked in to like the user permission management, but not everyone has that. So being able to actually permission things in analytics just all from directory is going to be really nice for users that might not be on Zoho 1. Another connection now for Denodo databases. I don't know if I've ever been asked to integrate with that, but now you can.
Never heard of it. Never heard of a
Not ever gonna
Denodo.
hurt.
It's
That's
like
a new
great
one for
name,
me.
though, Denodo. You know, Francisco.
Then looking at share to click. So now from within a dashboard, you can share it out via click. I played around with this a little. I didn't see a way to schedule it going out via click. That would be hopefully step 2, right? So if you wanted every, first of the month, the dashboard goes out about last month. I would imagine that's, maybe I missed it. Maybe it's soon to be released, but that'll definitely be a nice feature add for that. Also added new modules for LinkedIn ads. So a lot of these are around performance. So like industry, county, job function performance. From my experience, the performance ad sets are generally the most important data set that comes in with any advertising platform. Like with Google Ads, the performance data is like the spend per day by campaign, right? So 1 row per day for each campaign of all of your spend kind of aggregated. So without having a chance to look into the data, hopefully that's what this is. That's the most useful data for calculating ROI, which is generally the main thing you want to calculate when it comes to ad spend. And then lastly, and we'll feature one of these later as a code share, a little spoiler alert there, they have rolled out some new APIs. So version 2.3 is out. These are interesting. A lot of these are actually changing configuration options. So like adding a formula column, creating a SQL table, all of that via API. A lot of the times I'm going to be doing those from the front end, but I guess if you needed this, it can't hurt. The ones that are, I think, most obviously useful would be like view and column dependence, right? If you need to like search through various data sets via a script, you'll now be able to do that. So nice round of updates there. I don't think anything earth-shattering, but they're just always adding new sources as they go for analytics.
Very nice. All righty. I don't know if I got that little elf reference in there. Did you catch that?
Did I make one or no? Is it written?
We were talking about Donato. And I said, I like that. It's a nice word. I like the sound of that. Donato. It's like Francisco. Remember that?
No.
Elf.
I don't know that line. I feel like I've seen the movie 20 times that I can't pick that line out.
That's where he walks into his dad's office and the guy's name is Francisco. Oh, Francisco, I like that name. It's Francisco. Anyway, Freddie, am I losing my mind or is that, you remember that? Is that just me?
I don't remember that.
No. Gosh darn it. Someone fact check me on that. Maybe I've lost it. Great holiday movie, by the way. That, Love Actually. What's your favorite holiday movie, Tyler?
Oh, Elf, easily. It's got to be Elf. Yeah.
Elf, yeah. Die Hard. But
that's
just gets me right. Gets me right here. Yeah, yippee-ki-yay.
I'll die on that hill. That is a Christmas movie.
I think it is. Tender, touching,
Heartwarming.
All right. Moving on with the news. Data migration extended to services and appointments modules in Zoho CRM. Data migration, particularly between 2 Zoho CRM accounts, is an essential process that ensures the seamless transition of business data, thereby preventing distributions and providing continuity. In line with that, guess what? You can now migrate services and appointment modules, which is very important. So
yeah, appointments in particular.
Yeah. I was unaware this wasn't a thing because I think I haven't done a migration in 4 years, but
this is pretty specific. So like the services module, it's kind of like a subset of products in here. Was added a while back, and then you can have appointments against those services. This is one of those things where like if you're scheduling appointments out like a month or 2 in advance, not being able to migrate those is actually a big pain point. So like for a lot of people, this won't matter. I think in most of our implementations, we don't use the services and appointments modules. But if you're going to use them, you need them included in the migration. Otherwise, you're going to have to manually add many, many appointments that you've already scheduled in the future. So yeah, I would assume they probably got a request here and we're like, oh yeah, that should probably be included. And they got it added. So shout out to Zoho. Again, not everyone needs it, but if you do, this will be a lifesaver as you go forward with that migration.
Yeah, excellent. And also on the CRM, we've got a Deluge monthly roundup. Hello, Deluge enthusiasts. That should be a club. HDEs, the DEs. Anyway, it's come a long way over the years. Yes, it has. It started off as JavaScript and slowly morphed into Deluge, and now it's anyway. So, what have they done, Tyler, in the last month?
It looks like they've added just a couple actions here. So they've added a to date time string. Anyone who has spent a lot of time working in Deluge knows that date times are a pain in the butt. I'll tell you, I'm going to keep converting them the same way I always have. But I encourage anybody to explore this new function, which should essentially just give you a simpler way to convert something to a date time with a particular format. That gets real important as not all Zoho apps use the same format in processing date times via API. So nice to have, but there were already ways to do that. And I'm probably going to stick with those because I'm a creature of habit at the end of the day. They've also rolled out some updates and improvements to the Zoho subscriptions Deluge actions. Main thing here is that they're being renamed. So they're renaming that to Zoho billing. Nice thing is, and this is a quote for those who are listening to us, our backend magic will go ahead and migrate these over for you. So if you do have scripts that are using, Zoho subscriptions .create record, you're not going to need to manually change them to billings. They're going to swap it over. They're also setting up an autocorrect. So old school people like me that are going to still type subscriptions out of habit, it's going to autocorrect over to billing so that it actually works.
Nice. And I also love the line direct quote from this. There's nothing to worry about. So we'll see.
Last one here is just 2 words is getting support for the Indian number system. So just a minor update there for using the 2 words function.
Fantastic. And we just kind of jumped into this, but for those of you who are just listening to the show for the first time, you're new to Zoho. Deluge is Zoho's back-end scripting language, and it's extremely powerful. So oftentimes people will come to us and like, man, I just can't figure out how to get Zoho CRM to do this or that or whatever. And oftentimes it's just a small little, 15-minute, half-hour fix to write some code to do what they need to have it do on the back end. It's native to Zoho, Zoho CRM, and extremely, extremely powerful stuff. So if you're not familiar, it's just kind of a back end, a little bit of magic. And I think this is what, the real power of Zoho presents itself when you're trying to do something is what you can do with Deluge scripting. So fantastic. All right. And moving right along, also in CRM, we have wizards for inventory modules and more. So basically, wizards in CRM are something that kind of keep you on track as you're going through and doing certain functions. And now it has been extended out into the inventory modules. Tyler, is that what we got?
Yeah, and when they say inventory modules here, what they're talking about are like quotes, sales orders, purchase orders, invoices. They've also added vendors and price books. And the wizards, they're really there on record creation if you want to guide them through a particular process. And I could actually see a lot of value for this in quotes. We normally haven't used wizards too heavily because a lot of the times we try to get people away from manually creating records, right? So it's like, if we're going to set up a wizard for lead creation, it's like, maybe we should just integrate the form where the lead comes from in the first place, and then you don't need to do that step, right? Or like you could have a wizard for deal creation, but you should probably just create the deal when you convert the lead, right? And same for like contacts and accounts. But for something like a quote, you could have more of like a guided selling process, right? Because it walks you kind of step by step through the quote, right? So like, is this quote for renovation or a new build, right? And the nice thing with the wizard is that it can guide the user to ask certain questions or make sure that certain pieces of data are collected as part of that process. So I can actually see people using this in the quotes module, kind of have a wizard at the beginning and then maybe CPQ to run some price rules based on the data that's in the wizard. So I'm starting to see how that might kind of come together for a nice little quote interface inside of CRM.
That's very cool. But you know, I also do want to point out, don't they call it in the CRM, say inventory module, isn't it called finance in the CRM? Or is that only when you convert?
Only when you convert it
to books. Huh.
They don't really call it inventory modules anywhere inside of CRM other than in the templates section. Other than that, the word inventory is never used other than in their help documentation.
Perfect. All right. Good on Zoho. And that's going to do it for the CRM updates this week. Let's move on to Zoho's password manager, Zoho Vault. So what happened? So this is kind of a rundown of everything that happened in 2023 for Zoho Vault. We'll cover some of this on our show at the end of this month as well. But if you aren't familiar, it is an absolutely fantastic password manager. If you're using OnePass, you're using LastPass, you're using any of those. If you've got Zoho, just switch over. It's got I think, was it a year ago they made the improvements to the browser extensions,
and the whole thing. The whole thing. It was the extensions and the app. And they also cleaned up a lot of the naming conventions in it. Like they used to call things they were funny and I kind of liked them because they were all like Vault themed, but it didn't make sense for users. It was like you had credentials were inside of, not vaults, what do they call them? Chambers. And each chamber had a secret or something. And they kind of standardized a lot of the naming. And
it was very Harry Potter.
The Harry Potter references. Yeah. You know, and redid the whole UI.
Wizard Zoho.
Yeah. Yeah, that's perfect, actually. Look at that. We didn't even plan on that. You know, and they redid the UI. They added OTP authentication, which is a big thing that these tools have to do, right? Like you need to be able to set up the rotating code OTP in there. So yeah, really great application. We don't use it because you have to be logged into your Zoho account in the browser of use, and we are very, very picky in our workflow. But basically, everybody who isn't a Zoho partner, there's very little reason not to use Zoho Vault for your organization.
Yeah. I will explain that. We're having to log into other people's Zoho instances, which means we can't be logged into our Zoho instance. And since we can't be logged into our Zoho instance, we can't be using Zoho Vault. Otherwise, we would. So, yeah, it'd be nice. One of the coolest things on here, I like this, and I think this is, had they done geolocation restrictions across some of the other apps as well? I thought they were starting to roll some of that out.
Yeah, they've been adding more and more of it. Like we just saw it today in analytics. They added the IP restriction for access there. So yeah, it seems like they're adding it to more apps.
Super, super cool. So basically you're saying only people in this geo IP bucket can get in this area. Of course, people can get around that using VPNs and other things, but still, just as a general first line of defense, pretty good. So good on you, Zoho Vault. And now we're going to move on to what I think is probably Zoho's best, for 2023. I know it was released well before that, talked about in 2019. But this year, FSM, Field Service Management, came out of beta and is a full-fledged product and has been rolled out. And we're kind of liking it. They've done a really nice job with it.
So far, so good. And these updates here that they've rolled out, honestly, like these are the ones that after I did our walkthrough of FSM, I went onto the Partner Connect and I asked for these things.
Really?
Not taking credit for it, but they basically responded right away and they're like, yep, we're already working on those. So now we get to announce them. So they've basically rolled out more schedule-based automations. So a couple things, you can essentially take a work order or an appointment and make it scheduled on a fixed cadence. So for a lot of customers, like, hey, we're going to do this cleaning work every quarter, right? Like the first Monday of the second month in a quarter, we're going to do this cleaning. So now you can just pre-schedule future recurring service events. That's great. Got to have that. The big one for me that I picked out when I was kind of going through were time-based workflows. So that was kind of missing originally in the product. Time-based workflow basically just meaning one day before the appointment date, send a reminder, right? Like these are all very important for any FSM related activities because they happen at a specific date and time. So now they've rolled those out as well. That was honestly the biggest one that I was kind of begging for after I did the initial walkthrough.
Yeah.
But so that's been rolled out as well. And then
Templates.
but go ahead.
I've got templates under the templates tab, details of your work orders and service appointments. That's nice.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then last one is multi-day appointments. So if a job's going to take more than one day, you can now actually set it up to bridge across multiple days. So again, really nice one to have there. That's reflects real life. Sometimes things take more than one day. So being able to schedule that, of course, is going to be important for people that are using FSM.
Nice. Beautiful. Good job, FSM team. Have we deployed this much yet?
No, we're working on it for a new client that's spun up. We're doing some CRM, FSM, and then a little creator for like a site gathering form. But yeah, we're starting to dabble with it. Really, the last feature that is missing is a solid offline mode for mobile devices. That's got to happen just with the nature of FSM, right? Sometimes you're going in the middle of nowhere to do this work. So that's really the last thing. And then from there, we'll be looking really good.
Yeah. If you, in the meantime, you need this really FSM, there is another product called Zuper out there, which has very, very good Zoho integration, Zuper. You can check them out. But this is really coming a long way. So nice job, Zoho. All righty. And then moving along with the news, Zoho has published an article called The Difference Between Zoho Marketing Automation and Zoho Campaigns. One works. Anyway, just kidding there, guys. This is an interesting thing.
Couldn't help yourself on with that one. You just couldn't help yourself.
Sorry. What do I say here? What do we say? So Zoho Marketing Automation, Zoho Campaigns, basically think of it as outbound drip journey based marketing using multiple channels. Zoho Campaigns has been around a very, very, very long time. It is rock solid for the most part, and think of it as MailChimp, Constant Contact, that kind of thing, a very, very good, solid product. Marketing automation dropped at Zoholics in 2019, was pulled at the end of 2019, early 2020, has been in beta ever since. It's out of beta now, though, right? Just like a month ago?
I think so. It's out of beta, but not for existing Zoho One users.
Right. It's a complete mess. You can't be on campaigns, marketing automation. There's a whole bunch of things around that as well. We have been deep diving testing it, and so far we're just not getting it. It's just not. We're holding. I'm going to reserve judgment on it because we're kind of trying to work through some things, and hopefully we can bless it. But the question that they're throwing out in this article here is one that we are asked all of the time, and it's interesting because they've got a little chart that's in here which says, here's Zoho Marketing Automation, here's Zoho Campaigns. So when you talk about marketing campaigns, which is the big one, marketing automation does email, SMS, social media, and webinars. And you used to do social media, but they pulled it out. Right?
Yep.
Remember?
Yep.
God. Webinars, I don't even understand from a market. That doesn't make any sense to me. What you would do there from a marketing basis, but where Zoho Automation though comes in on some other stuff is it's really doing things like landing pages, pop-up forms, sign-up forms, that kind of stuff. There's some goal setting and things like that, but it's kind of like you get a lot of these things in other Zoho products.
Yep.
That you can use. It does have, and it's kind of weird because you've got sign up forms in campaigns. I thought you had pop-ups in campaigns.
You definitely used to. Yeah, it's still in a weird spot. And like for some of these, if you scroll up a little bit, like they have in the automation section, like I know because I've used them both that they're the same. But they've written different descriptions for them, but I know they're the same, right? Like the way that workflows and journeys work in the two apps is identical. Right. So some of these I'm like, are they taking features out of campaigns? If you look at lead qualification, and they have on the marketing automation side that lead scoring can be done on web behavior, field-based, or email activity, right? And then on the campaign side, they just say email activity and workflow. But
Right.
I've been using campaigns a long time. You can do field-based scoring in campaigns already. So why isn't that also on the right side? I don't know. I don't even know if this article is 100% accurate in the differences between the two. We'd love to move over to marketing automation. I'm hoping that the goal there is for them to finally solve connecting web traffic to CRM leads. That's always been something that is weirdly difficult to do in the Zoho suite. But I don't know. It's still just in a weird kind of confusing spot. And because we're on Zoho 1, we haven't really had a chance to move our own account over and start giving it a real try.
Well, and there's so much here. We've said this before, but the confusion around this is ridiculous. And so honestly, if I was to look at this, it needs to become one product. And all you're doing is you're saying, hey, if you're on the free version or the professional version, it's Zoho Campaigns. If you want to go to the enterprise version, it has the features in marketing automation. And maybe you have an ultimate version that has something else as well, but it's got to be one product. I mean, but the thing is, these are two distinct separate products. They live on separate databases. They live in everything is completely separate about them. So one needs to go and one needs, but I think the reason, I don't know, I can't figure it out for the life of me. I don't even know why this occurred, why Zoho Campaigns just didn't have features getting added to it over time.
Yeah, I mean, like because if you look at subscriptions, right? They didn't make Zoho Billing as a separate product that has a handful of extra features and sell it separately. They said, hey, subscriptions should just have those products, so we're going to rename it, rebrand it, and expand the functionality, right? And it makes perfect sense because we get a lot of, on prospecting calls, I'm sure you have this conversation all the time where they're like, we started down with marketing automation because it seemed like the good one. Then we realized it's actually the bad one. And now we're struggling to move everything over to campaigns, right? That's a common story that we hear where it's, it almost makes you think, should marketing automation just have been fully delisted in 2019?
Yes.
Right? Because they rolled back 2.0, but kept 1.0 live so that it still generates this confusion of which one do I use. Probably just should have been taken all the way back, and everyone should still be on campaigns until this thing is fully ready.
And then campaigns could just add features. This it's just, this is a maddening thing. Wayne and Freddie have been going through it. You guys in our marketing team over here, and they're working through marketing automation. Initial reviews are not great. But they're working with the team to try to figure it out and see if maybe they're missing something to try to get. I'd love for it to work.
Oh, me too.
It would be great. But my goodness, we are 4 years in. 4.5 years in. So
hope
it's getting a little
over time.
It really does. So Freddie, you should just take the timestamp of this segment of the show and just drop it in the comments section here, so that the team can get our thoughts on this. Love you guys, love campaigns, love want marketing automation to work, but there's just too many.
Getting lost in the sauce here is stretched on forever.
Yeah, as the biggest partner in the Americas, talking to the most number of people, this is something that comes up all the time, and people are just baffled by it, and it causes pain and suffering, and it just doesn't need to occur.
Yeah, doesn't make much sense.
No. All righty, and with that, kind of a little PSA to wrap up the news here today. There's an announcement on the maximum allowed daily API credits. They've gone from 1 million. The revised credits are now 1 million in Professional Edition and 2 million in the Enterprise and Zoho 1 Edition. This is in, does anybody ever hit these limits? Yeah. It doesn't really say. It's saying it's across Zoho Developer, but I'm assuming they're referring to CRM here.
Yeah, it's got to be referring to the CRM. It's more credits. Why not? We were kind of talking about this before the show. Like, it's very rare that CRM is where you're having API limit issues in the world of Zoho. They're already pretty high, and they have a really robust bulk API system. So if you're writing efficient code, like, you got to work real hard to hit that limit. But never hurts to have it raised, especially for larger customers with highly automated systems. Kudos to you, Zoho. Please do the same thing in Zoho Books as soon as humanly possible, because it is still 5,000 over there by default, which is not enough. But yeah, I'm never going to complain about more API credits at the end of the day.
Okay, Zoho CRM developer. Very good. Yes, it is CRM. Perfect. All right, Tyler, with that, let's head on over into the implementation of the week.
All right, so implementation this week is automated contractor bill generation via some CRM functionality. So this was built out by Hunter as well as Alex and Bruno on the development side of the house. So really the goal here was to automate a two-step process for contractors that are working for a client. First, the contractor needs to sign off on a particular set of labor that they're going to be paid for. Then when they sign, we're looking to create a bill inside of Zoho Books where that contractor would be a vendor, right? Because we're paying out this money to them. So first thing we did, essentially set up functionality in CRM for contractors to be able to log time against various projects, engagements, and services that our client is providing. Then on the first of every month, a schedule runs that will take all of those various time entries, group them up by the contractor that submitted them, format them into a document for each contractor, and then send it out for digital signature. Basically just to confirm for the contractor, these are all the hours that we are about to pay you for. This is what you said you worked. If anything in this is inaccurate or if it's missing anything, now's the time, right? Before you sign this document to go in and submit any additional time logs. Then once that document is signed, that month is effectively closed out for that particular contractor, and a bill gets generated inside of Zoho Books so that our client can, mark it as paid, decrease cash on hand, and kind of close the loop from an accounting perspective on actually paying out to that contractor. So kind of a slick one here, two-step process. The sign-off was kind of the unique part here, just making sure that like everything is confirmed before that bill goes out. But big shout out to the team. This was a process that was like fully manual before this, and it wasn't in Zoho's, in another application they were using. But this was like their team would manually roll up all of this, send it out, manually bill them, and now it's just going to happen on the first of the month.
Wow. You guys are wizards. You're wizards, Hunter. You're wizards, Alex. You're a wizard, Bruno. Yes, you are. Very, very nice. That's cool stuff, man. Very,
it's nice. Big time saver. And this is actually part two, because part one is that the customers actually get an auto invoice for all the time specific to the customer. And then all the consultants or contractors get bills related to their time spread between multiple different customer engagements. So like the whole APAR for their work is just automated at this point. They don't need to touch it.
Absolutely beautiful. Beautiful. All right, good work. And with that, guys, let's head back over to Club Zenatta and see what Greg's got cooking up for us on the code share of the week. All righty, exciting stuff. You can update a view's sharing details in Zoho Analytics using some of the new APIs, Tyler, that were just rolled out. Is that what this is?
Yeah, using some of the new APIs that were just rolled out. This one, as I look at some of those APIs, I didn't see a big use case. Like I can't imagine creating a SQL table via API. I don't know when. Just be honest, I don't know when a user would need to do that. But updating a view's sharing details is actually pretty slick. So where this would come into play is, let's say we onboard a new consultant, right? So every consultant has access to one dashboard in analytics that gets pre-filtered for them so they can see like how they're tracking against their metrics. So what you could do with this is the minute that I add a user, let's say to Creator, to Zoho CRM, and I add them in the role of consultant, a function can trigger that would auto add them to the share list for that particular dashboard, right? So like you add someone new to the marketing team, they get the marketing dashboard rather than having to go in and do any manual sharing. So minor, but one of those things where, hey, set it and forget it. Now everyone just gets the appropriate dashboards when you add them to the appropriate role or like department, whatever, right? Whatever the parameter you're going to use to determine who gets what. This is actually pretty nice for like ongoing administration because, again, anything you can do to remove a manual step from the onboarding of a new user is good for your organization, right? Like employees are kind of grading you through the onboarding process, right? And it's like, oh, I forgot to give you this. Oh, I forgot to give you that, right? So the more that you can just set it and forget it, the easier it is when you add new people to make sure they're getting all the functionality that they need out of the system.
Fantastic. Good stuff there. And if you don't know, it's over on Club Z's where all our code share is kept, and you can skim through. This library is getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. This is all searchable, so just go up here, search for what you're looking for, and we've been doing this a while now, huh?
Yeah. We do have some just participants too that come in and add code. It's not all us. We've got a couple other users, just fellow Zoho nerds that come in here and post their own code as well. So feel free to join over at club.zenatta.com. Get some free code.
Good stuff. All right, let's wrap this thing up with our tip of the week. I feel like it got cut off a little early there, Tyler.
I've never gotten tired of that little noise at the end of the transitions.
It's a little Ferris Bueller kind of thing there, isn't that? Is that
for copyright reasons, let's say no. It has nothing to do with the famous song from Ferris Bueller. Definitely not related at all.
Yeah. Anyway, it reminds me of that. How's that?
There you go. Yeah.
Yes.
You hear that? Copyright scanning bots. It's different.
Still within fair use. Hey, Josh is back at it again, using the Zoho Creator extension in Zoho CRM, an extremely powerful little tool that, as you say, Tyler, is not obvious on how to do this.
It's a little clunky when you go to set it up. It like kicks you into like, you were on it for a sec, but it's like, that's a Creator 4 UI right there. So they have not updated the CRM integration in 2 editions of Creator. But what this allows you to do is essentially connect a Creator form to a CRM record and show it as a related list. So
nice.
Tons of use cases for this. A really common one is like, hey, maybe from a deal, you want to be able to launch a site survey. And that site survey has kind of complicated rules and formatting and yada, yada, yada. So it makes sense to build it as a Creator form. Well, this just gives you the way to add it as a list to the deal where a user can actually just click plus, right, from their deal page, launch a Creator form, and start capturing that data. We use this in our own account, right? So like I can go to any CRM account, submit a portal invite form, and that adds them to the Creator portal that we have for our clients. And that's just done using this little integration. Again, very old school looking UI on this, but really powerful tool as we're finding just more and more use cases for using Creator as an extension of CRM functionality.
Yeah, fantastic. Excellent stuff. All righty. Well, Tyler, that is going to be our show for this week, the first one of December. We got a lot. I mean, since this one fell on the 1st, right?
Yeah, we're going to do 4 full shows for December.
Yeah,
look at that little mistletoe.
I know. Oh, look at that.
Other way. There you go.
Let's just not go there.
We'll save that for after we're done recording. We don't want to get demonetized. Might get a little spicy.
No. Look what it did to Disney's earnings. Anyway, that's a crazy story. You might want to Google that one if you're watching the show. Anyway, so hey, that's it for this show. As always, we love the fact that we can bring these shows to you. And if you want to get in touch with us over here at Zenatta and ask us some questions, say, hey, maybe you guys can help me with my problems, well, please head over to zenatta.com and click on book a meeting, and you'll be talking to one of us in no time at all.
On the website, you'll also find complete episodes of the show, as well as links to all the stories we discussed today. If you want that news delivered straight to your inbox every Monday morning, be sure to subscribe to our newsletter. And last but not least, we always appreciate when you like and subscribe here on YouTube, as well as your choice of podcast app. We'll see you next Friday.
Take care, everybody.